Good afternoon, Utah. Happy Wednesday. We're halfway through the work week. We'll begin with your weather headlines, which include more or less the same three that we've seen the last couple of days. Above average warmth, mostly dry skies, even though there will be a slight chance for a few showers, mainly later this afternoon to this evening. We'll talk about that in just a moment. The pollen count, it remains high, but by tomorrow, we do have changes on the way. We're about to enter a wetter and cooler pattern, which won't only help with the pollen, but we'll be looking at a pretty good chance for showers statewide by the time we make our way into Friday and Saturday, especially with a pretty decent chance across the northern two-thirds of the state by tomorrow. In the meantime, this is what it currently looks like. Red Cliffs Lodge in Moab, always one of my favorite cameras to show just because of the beauty that we have. We have blue skies, fair weather cumulus clouds. You have the red cliffs off in the distance, and of course you have the green grass, green trees, and clashing with the Colorado River down below. Really doesn't get much better than that. Here's what it currently looks like along the Wasatch Front in Utah County. This is a view from Utah Lake at the marina in Linden as we look off towards the snow-capped Oakers in the distance. Temperatures at this point are warming up rather nicely. Most of us outside of the mountains are currently sitting in the 60s and 70s. And all that is thanks to an increased southerly flow of wind. Salt Lake City right now we're sitting at 75 degrees, and I think there's a really good chance that we see a daytime high come in right around 80 degrees thanks to that southerly flow of wind, while Logan will see a daytime high in the mid-70s. For those of you in central and southern Utah, it'll be pretty close to what we had yesterday, but maybe a fraction cooler. And the reason why in St. George is because we have that southerly flow. We get that little bit of that upslope that'll help limit the warming just a little bit, but still a daytime high in the mid-80s is still pretty warm for this time of year in St. George. Across the northern half of the state, we'll mainly see daytime highs in the 60s and 70s with a chance some along the Wasatch Front to see that daytime high of 80 degrees, while in the Uinta Basin, daytime highs will mainly be in the mid to upper 70s. In central Utah, we'll get to 70 in Nephi, 83 in Castledale, and 74 in Emory. Then by the time you make your way down south, Bryce Canyon likely going to be one of the cooler spots with a daytime high of 65. We'll get to 83 in Lake Powell, 71 in Monticello, and we'll see a daytime high of 81 degrees in Hanksville. I mentioned before that there will be at least a slight chance that we could see a few isolated showers, mainly in northern Utah later this afternoon to this evening. Not only will we have the potential of finding some wet weather, we also can't rule out the potential for a few rumbles of thunder, but I think the best chance overall will be in northeast Nevada and the northwestern corner of the state as we start to see our next storm system working its way in our direction. And you'll actually see that here on the upper level futurecast. High pressure is now in the process of moving away, and here's that low pressure to our west. That's going to be arriving by the time we go from tonight into tomorrow, bringing us a pretty good chance for showers across the northern two-thirds of the state, and daytime highs will come down by about 10 degrees compared to what we find out there this afternoon. As quickly as that system moves away, we have one on its heels that'll be arriving from the Pacific Northwest, and this system is going to be a little bit stronger, likely going to have a better chance of wet weather across the entire state with temperatures that'll be dropping below our seasonal averages. Along the Wasatch Front, we'll go from daytime highs around 80 degrees today to daytime highs in the mid to upper 50s by Friday into Saturday. That system clears by the end of the weekend, and then by early next week, high pressure looks to build back in, and we should start to warm things up by the beginning of next week. Let's put it all into motion. We'll begin the futurecast at 4 o'clock this afternoon. And as we go from this afternoon to the evening, you can see a few pop-ups with that best chance really in the northwestern corner of our area. Then by tomorrow, here comes that first system. It's going to drag in a cold front along with it. Scattered showers, a few thunderstorms across the Beehive State, and then we'll be looking at widespread showers by the time we get into our Friday. Mainly going to be valley rain, mountain snow, with the bulk of the accumulations that we see mainly expected above 7,500 feet. But you can look at the precipitation forecast over the next 5 days. We're looking at some pretty healthy moisture, and for the mountains above 8,000 feet, we could see anywhere from 6 to 12 inches with maybe locally upwards of 1.5 feet. In St. George, we'll go from the 80s today to the low 70s by Friday and Saturday with the chance for showers, but we will warm up pretty quickly by early next week. Then along the Wasatch Front, a high near 80 degrees today, much cooler tomorrow as we go into our Friday as we see an increasing chance for showers. By Sunday, it's just a slight chance, then we're back in the low 70s by Monday of next week.